What if you can create the best AI SEO agent that not only knows about the SEO strategies, but can execute the strategies it has planned out at scale and continue to do it month on month, aligning the strategies to your organizational needs. This video is what happens when you give AI access to the best SEO tools and the playbook. So let's take a look. This project is actually inspired by OpenClaw, where if you don't know about it, OpenClaw is an AI agent that is personal and can do a lot of things for you if you give it access. So this is this is the core design behind what we are building here. It is generally a general capable AI agent that is that we actually can extend with skills and memory. That means it can have access to tools and also can have longevity and planning over a long period of time, because it stores all those things within its memory itself in a file system, right? So it has access to tools like browsers, so it can visit websites. It has access to coding environment so that it can create scripts that is needed to do certain things for itself. It has access to files where it can actually create files and memories and organize things just like a human executive assistant would. So the issue with OpenClaw is that it's not scalable, and you can't use it for a lot of clients and a lot of accounts at the same time. So what we did is that we extend on its capability, and we have one OpenClaw per tenant. That means every single client with us gets a isolated OpenClaw with its own isolated memory, files and skills and code and organization context and preferences, right? And an illustration of that would be something like, let's say, let's take a look at this. So this is the illustration of like the agent that we have here. You can see within each account, it has its own memory, and it can conduct its own research on things. It can have its own skills, right? For instance, like this one, we'll come to it later. It has its own identity and the way you like things. And all these are isolated across different accounts. So if I were to log into another account, right, you'd see that this is a completely different set of content. And all of these are things that we'll do over time. We can actually persist for each different kind of customers. So if you take a look at that, so every single customers have their own memory and have their own isolated system altogether. And on top of that, the next capability is that we have shared institutional knowledge for what's the meta on SEO and GEO. So two of those things stand out very, stand out a lot for us, which is one of them is this blog that we have published, which is talking about the two types of landing pages that SaaS startups absolutely need. So it's able to ingest like what we have created and what we have tried out for tens of clients, thousands of pages, and the meta that works really well, that if we were to execute, we'll be certain that it would rank in the next 3 days. So we are able to apply shared institutional knowledge across all AI agents. And if you make an update to this, because let's say there's a meta change in what it takes to succeed in the SEO environment right now, we can make an update, and all the AI agent actually have an improved update on how they would actually execute on it. The next thing is that it actually have the ability to have to execute code on its own sandbox layer. That means every single agent itself can actually execute code, call things like browsers, create scripts, and execute in a safe environment. So you never have the root access or access to another account simply because they run in isolated virtual environment. And the last thing that is really cool is that as the agent execute and when it actually comes up with issues, right? When you encounter problems around, let's say, tool calling or inefficiency in doing certain things, it does an automatic review of like how it's doing, how it's executing on it, and create a feedback to developers over here to tell us like, hey, this is something that is broken or that is something that is missing. So this is an example of what the agent actually filed as a report. You can see sometimes when it's being deployed to a new environment, certain environment variable is broken, and sometimes it tells you that, hey, Reddit block browser tool, and like what can we do, and it gives us the full report on how to do it. And you can see it actually even try to do workaround around certain things. So using all this, we can actually improve and find out what is broken. Sometimes it's something to do with the pipeline, and you can see it tell us that it has something to do with the database connection, not having enough connections over here. So this is really powerful because imagine you have AI worker that tells you that, hey, this is how you can build your system and environment better for us, right? And basically that is how we think about AI agents over here. And this is already live in production for a couple of months for all our clients, and it has reduced the amount of work for us by more than 90%. Now let's take a look at how we actually use it. So I'm going to share 4 use cases of our agents in action, and you can see how we are doing it. The first thing that we do is that we actually can perform very deep research into a company, right? So for instance, just giving its website itself, you can see that it's reading a certain set of skills, and it has access to certain tools to allow it to perform research on the things. So you can see it's going through the browser, trying to visit the page, run some query on Google, right? And take a look at what it's trying to do. It's even trying to explore keyword ideas around certain kind of like keywords, right? And at the end of the day, you can see that it actually compile the research into this memory over here. So you can even look at the file. So memory research chase flow. So let's take a look. Memory company research chase flow. There you go. This one. So you can see it gives us a full information on what this company do, what they do, and not just that, like the X factor. What makes this company really stand out from the rest? How it works, pricing, integration, and it starts collecting a lot of keywords that is unique, and you can't really find this on like keyword explorers. So more than that, it actually creates competitors, right? It looks for competitors in this space. This would be really useful for competitor research later on, and it tries to look at what are the incumbents people are using, what are the adjacent softwares or alternative tools that people are using, and then it goes down to keywords, and you can start to see, oh, all these keywords are ready for us to just get started. And this is super helpful for and not just that, you can see it starts to get into programmatic SEO pattern, where you can go like Singapore invoice collection service, industry account receivables, how to collect unpaid invoice from certain type of clients. So there's really a lot of opportunities just from this itself, and this is actually made possible because of the skills that we have trained it. So we have certain kind of playbook that allows it to dig deeper into certain ICPs, look into keywords that no one else is looking at. So we're not just looking at like Ahref keywords because that's just boring. So this agent is capable of executing all of these things independently and create the research that is needed from here. And at this point in time, it's very easy for us to onboard new client, get into sales call, simply because we know so much more about the client, and usually more so than they do. And so this is just one example of like how we use this AI agent to be able to dig really deep into different sort of industry, even those that are really hard. For instance, like satellite communication technology, quantum technology, and even graph database technology. We are able to do a very deep dive into the industry in a matter of minutes. Now, the next thing that our agents can do is actually manage and plan keywords. So within Synscribe, we have a keyword dashboard that allows us to, let's take a look at perhaps this one, right? That allows us to kind of plan, what do we want to target, from month to month, and like track them from like the sources where we come that, how do we come to be these keywords, and then go to like content plans around there, and then finally looking at rank tracking to see how do we perform from there. And this software, the agent itself, can actually do this automatically for us. So this is an example of us onboarding a new client over here, where we basically start off with a company research, as you have seen just now. And then after that, it's doing its own thing. And we actually put in some transcripts between some of our meetings to actually pick out some keywords and strategies and save them into the space, right? And we do this over different calls because we are extracting a lot of key insights from sales call, from strategy calls. And from there, you can see it starts to build up a lot of knowledge, memory about who they are, call details, and from there you can see it starts to create keywords. So you can see, let's create the 3 tags first because I told it to create keywords for call, keywords that's call to business, what the edges, fringes, important ones, and planning for the March cycle. So you can see it starts to create all this tag, call, fringe, focus, right? And after that it starts creating the group of keywords and inserting them, right? And all of this is done automatically, and we can keep going back and saying that we want to do further splits on certain things. And you can see the agent is just doing all of this thing autonomously, and it's self-learned because we can actually ask it to save how we organize text and strategies in memory, right? And when you get over to keywords, then you can start to see, oh, actually all these keywords are right now nicely tagged and nicely tagged for us and ready to be deployed for the the client itself. And this is really cool because we can actually automate a lot of very admin heavy work over to in AI. So another one, right? So we can use our agent to plan and create landing pages, right? So a lot of the time we are creating landing pages for our clients, and I'm showing you an illustration of how we are doing this for ourselves. So if you head over to Synscribe, we have our page here, and if we wake up one day and say, hey, we want a comparison page where we basically compare with everybody, and if they search for, let's say, a certain agency's review or certain agency's alternative, right, it's going to end up with us. So this is how I created. I'm like, oh, I want to create a new landing page called /compare, and you want to do some quick research on other agency and figure out what is our unique edge or X factor that really make us stand out, right? And help me plan out the skills. So you can see it's doing all those things. It's looking at all the other SEO agencies, right? Even reading some of them, right? Loading up the skills that is required to do this, and from there, once it has a certain kind of like comprehensive picture of the space, you can see it starts to pull out all these competitors in the space, and what kind of tools, some are agencies, some are tools, and from there mapping out like what makes us unique. And you can see it makes this plan for us based on the earlier blog post that I shared, which is the horizontal and vertical landing page. And over here you can see it gives us some keywords, even like alternative, best certain things, and you can almost visualize this as a landing page already. You can see this is the hero section, this is the overview, how you're going to do a comparison table, why we stand out, and who should why people should pick us, and or why people should pick our competitor, right? FAQ, CTAs, and this is just all in a single prompt over here, right? And you must be thinking like, hey, it's nice, but like, how am I going to execute on that? So for instance, you can ask it for a preview of how a landing page would look like with a certain company. So it's doing up its research, and you can see it's doing like, oh, this is the hero, this is how we would do the comparison table, this is the edge ideal for, and it's so real, right? But the thing is that it still lives within the agent. How can we actually scale this up to hundreds of pages, right? So this is integrated to our landing page, pipeline, where we can use the same pipeline to create hundreds of pages, right? So you can see I say, I tell it to like, hey, go create this landing page first, and it's real because, it comes back down to here, it creates a new kind of like landing page over here. And then, it adds this new keywords over here, and you can see the, content is just right here. And this is actually the last thing that we need, because when we, have this data, we are actually able to create hundreds of pages based on this JSON data itself. And you can see the each of this is, analyzed in a very precise manner to create a language that, it knows that it would rank for sure, because it's looking at the search engine result page and seeing like what are the gap, and how do we actually position it, ourselves in a very precise manner, so that we actually get on top of other people, because Google thinks that this is actually a super valuable piece of content for them, right? And once you have this, right, we can actually scale up to hundreds of pages simply for this, right? All we need to do is drag and drop this JSON file into either CMS, right, or export it as a CSV out of the system. So this is basically how our agent actually creates like hundreds of like landing pages that is very precisely crafted, because it relies on our tried and tested workflow in the system. And of course, this system, because it's built on OpenClaw, the layout, it's actually able to do really fanciful stuff. For instance, I was just doing this the other day, where I was like, hey, do a company research, because I want to enter a sales call with someone, and they do a full company research. I ask it to help me prepare certain things to speak to the CEO, right? And you can see all the pitch angle over here. What are some of the things that I absolutely want to bring it up to them, and basically preparing like the a call script for basically the discovery call. And you can see this is super useful, and at the end I kind of like just save it as a skill. So you can see that as a skill, I now have a discovery call planning skill that is now available, right, on how I want to do my discovery call. And this is only available to my own organization here. So it's really cool like what AI can do these days, and we are really at the edge of this, where we are trying to run this live in production with various clients already, and we are refining how it's being used, because the agent itself can actually self-report, right? So we have a very close loop over here on how we develop this AI agent. Right now it's in closed beta, where that means only a selected few people have access to this, but we are really excited to continue to develop this and share it with the world. In the meanwhile, this is what that's powering the core of Synscribe when you work with us. So this is a great preview, and I hope you like this, and hopefully it gives you a vision of like where AI is gonna be in the future, and how AI agents can actually fully take over human when it comes to like highly creative tasks, or tasks that requires certain taste and like craftsmanship in this, because what we are doing really is being able to codify taste and craftsmanship in a huge organization. And I'm just very excited to share this with everyone right now. Hope you enjoy this.